Okay. Yeah, we're on. Hi, everybody. We're just getting warmed up and getting started. So I've got a new computer. So I'm like learning as we go. And I'm going to share the screen with the PowerPoint. Cool. Oh, this is going to work great. And let me get this going with our PowerPoint slideshow. Here we go. Got to get it from beginning. There we go. There we go, everybody. And then I'm going to check because I want you all to be able to send in your questions and we're going to answer them in the Garden Coach. So this is, if you're just signing on, here we go. Hold on. Let's do this. All right, I have to do this. We're going to do this one instead. All right. Oh, here we go. I'm going to stop the share for a minute. There I am. And let me find the questions. I'm going to put the chat box up. Oh, it looks like we've got 13. That's so good. A lucky number. And then where is the chat box? I want to get the chat box up. There it is. And I'm going to put this over here. Let's see if I can move this. I did that. Ooh, this is like my kind of machine. It's not an Apple thing anymore, you guys. So I'm lucky. And then I have Q&A. So you can either do this with the questions and answers, or you can also do it with the chat box, okay? And let me see, I'm looking at the time. Ooh, we're right at the starting time. So welcome, everybody. I'm Jennifer Brennan, and I'm the Garden Coach. And I was going to wear my garden hat, but I have to tell you, I had a good hair day. What do you think? I had a good hair day today. And actually, because I had a good hair day, it made it really all right when I walked out the door and saw that there were 2 more inches of snow at my house. And I'm one of those people, I live in Evanston, and I've always loved the cooler by the lake effect of living close to Lake Michigan. I have to tell you that in the past 10 days, when cooler by the lake has translated into lake effect, you know, the description. So if there's anything that says lake effect in front of it, I'm not so happy with it. And I'm sure you aren't either. So I'm hoping that you don't live as close to the lake as I do. So you haven't been quite as impacted as heavily as I have, with this snow, all the snow we're having. So with the Garden Coach, and we're starting it up, we're going to do it every week again because people really love the Garden Coach. And what this is based on are the questions that I've been getting, each week. And so what I'm doing is I'm summarizing them. Now, you all got a copy of this attached to your invitation to sign on with the Zoom. And, it's an attached document. So you can download this and print this. My goal is to always have just a front and back only of topics for each week. And since we're going to do them on a weekly basis, I'll get to everything you need to know about. And but these are the most important. So what my plan is to have about 30 minutes of talking about the topics, and then answering all of your questions afterwards. So I'm hoping everyone is real happy with that. Another thing I want to let you know is what we've done is based on the products that I'm going to be recommending. We have a section in the store, in the retail store, called the Garden Coach. Oh my gosh, I'm just blanking on the term they're using. Good job, Jen. It's called, I want to call it Garden Coach products, but there's a better name. Anyway, there's a book cabinet behind the diagnostic desk. And if you have not been in the store in the past month, you must come, because we've rearranged, we've changed all the direction of the shelving units. And so the garden essentials department really looks good. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. And so the diagnostic or the plant clinic desk is right out in the open again. And you just come down the main aisle, you can see it. And then there's a bookshelf right behind my desk where we have the microscope. And on one of those shelves is going to be all of the Garden Coach collection. That's the term. They're calling it the Garden Coach collection. And that's also on our webpage. So you can go to our webpage to do the online shopping and find all the products that are being talked about during the Garden Coach each time. So okay, and I'm seeing this thing again where people say they didn't get an email attached. Let me just do this. Let me move this over. Make sure that you've signed on through the website. I think some people were able just to log on to get in by clicking on it without signing in. If you sign in, then you get the attachment with the invitation to log on to the Zoom. Let me see there. Okay, let me see. All right, I'm just looking at all these other questions. Okay, and I'll get back to these. Okay, here we go. All right. Now, and I want to warn you that the questions, I'll answer the questions later. If it's not appropriate to do the work this time of year, then that'll be one of the last questions I answered. Like this one right here from Janet. What's the best way to eliminate buckthorn? It's not appropriate to do that right now, so I'm not going to address that on the Garden Coach. I'll get back to you with an answer. All right, so everybody, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share the screen. I've got some PowerPoint images to kind of here we go. There we go. And share. Here we are. Okay. All right. Here we go. And okay, why isn't this working? There we go. Okay, I have to give you a little bit of introduction. I love my microscope, everybody. Before I came to Chalet, I was the plant information specialist at the Chicago Botanic Garden. And at that time, and this is 25 years ago, the Women's Board had donated a phenomenal microscope setup to the plant information office. And it was a diagnostic microscope, and it was attached to a TV monitor at the information desk, and we could take the samples back and put them under the microscope, and then the people standing at the front of the desk could see the images on the screen. It was just one of the best tools that I had ever worked with. So when I came here to Chalet, I didn't feel like I could ask the owner to spend $5,000 at that time to get a video microscope set up. So I just asked him if I could have a microscope. So we got a microscope, and it's a stereoscopic microscope that is usually used for dissecting, because we're using large enough samples that was the best microscope to use. Well, 7 years later, I mean, it worked great because we could show the mic. I mean, I could offer people to look in the microscope if they'd want to, but most people are pretty reticent to look in a microscope. But I would explain it. And then when we had to get a new microscope, the company we worked with was a company that was a distributing company that worked with schools and education centers. And so when I was looking through his catalog, I found this AverVision that is, it attaches to the top of my microscope, and it's a camera. And that takes this microscope magnifies 20 times. So it's 20x. And then the camera probably takes it another 20 times larger to go to the screen, and people have loved it. It's just so much fun. And this is not really an appropriate one now, although this is powdery mildew on the one screen, and you can see the photo showing the sample on the microscope tray, and then the screen to show how much it's enlarged. And I was going to say this isn't appropriate, but I have to tell you, I've been seeing powdery mildew on things like rosemary that's inside. And but we'll talk about that later. Oops, let me go back here, backspace. All right, this just shows you the close-up of the samples and then on the screen, and then how it goes larger. And then this is my goofy, and this was from 100 years ago, and probably about 20 pounds ago. And but this was my classic geek look. And when you want to have someone give you the best answers, go to someone that's prepared with like a magnifying glass, special goggles, and there's my garden coach and my garden geek look. All right, now the first thing we need to talk about, and we have had an epidemic of these fungus gnats, and fungus gnats are actually, you can see the adult that's on the right hand side of your screen. That's the adult, and they're little tiny. They're very small. A lot of times when people see them flying around, and they're usually near their plants, or what'll happen is the fungus gnats will actually fly to like a light source, like a light, a TV screen, a computer screen. They'll buzz around your eyes because your eyes are bright, and they go around mirrors. They'll go to windows, and you usually just see them flying around, and they look very similar to fruit flies. Like when you have peaches in the house, you always have fruit flies when you have peaches that are ripe. And my first reaction is, I don't have any fruit, but these are fungus gnats, and fungus gnats are derived from, now the bottom picture on the screen are the larvae, and the larvae actually hatch from eggs that have been laid in the soil of mostly our houseplants. When they're in, they usually come from houseplants this time of year. And a lot of times if we take our houseplants outside in the summer, that's when they get inoculated. That's when the adults can lay the eggs. And this is really bad news for all of you. Those eggs can stay dormant for up to 5 years. 5 years. It's ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous. So what happens is, when our furnaces have been blowing nonstop, which they have been ever since we've had the extremely cold temperatures, and we've had the single-digit temperatures, our furnaces have just been going nonstop. And when that happens, even with a humidifier attached to your furnace, the humidity levels in the house really drop and drop and drop. They can get as low as single digits, which is what happens with it's what happens in the desert. And so our plants are drying out more quickly. They have a higher transpiration rate when the humidity levels in the house are lower. And so what happens is they dry out, the soil dries out more quickly. So we have to water more frequently. And because we're watering more frequently, the lower levels of the containers stay moister for longer. And that is perfect for stimulating those eggs to hatch. So the eggs hatch into larvae, and in 8 to 10 days, they can actually turn to adults, and then they crawl out of the soil and then fly through the air. And the best way to get rid of those is to use, we have this wonderful systemic insecticide from the Bonide company, and it comes in 2 sizes. It comes in the 1 pound size, or the half pound, which is 8 ounces. Then it's a granular. And what you're going to do is you're going to measure the granules, and it's based in vermiculite, and so the insecticide is embedded into those particles. You'll take 2.5 tablespoons. Those are tablespoons, not teaspoons. You'll take 2.5. Sprinkle that over the surface of the soil. Do this right before you're going to water the next time, and then water. And you want to pour the water through those granules, and just kind of drizzle it through, so it dissolves the insecticide and takes it down into the soil. It is going to kill those larvae instantly on contact, and it stays in that soil for 30 days. What happens is the roots of the plants absorb the insecticide also, and it stays in the plant for 8 weeks, 2 whole months. And then that protects those plants from all the other insects that we're dealing with. And those insects are aphids, mealybugs, scale. It's a wonderful solution for scale. And the only thing it doesn't take care of is spider mites, and that's going to be my next slide. So if you're having a problem with fungus gnats, just get in a habit of treating all the soil and all your indoor plants once a month. So that will help, make sure that you get rid of any of those larvae. And if any of the adults are still flying around, and the nice thing about the adults is they only live about 10 days. And but if you have a lot of them, you'll want to get these sticky stakes. And I love these because they have these neat little stakes in here that you attach the yellow. See these neat stakes? And these are where you attach, they just slide right in here. And it's these yellow sticky traps. And you peel the wax paper off of them, and it's sticky underneath there. And then these you loop them and then stick them right in here. And then this sticks right down into the soil. It's really easy. And then it's really cool because if you have a lot and you have taller plants, you can do 2 of these together, which is really neat. And see, it's really neat. And see there, and you can have 4. So I love this product. And what happens is you have to have these stakes like vertical or horizontal, or at an angle. They're not good horizontal because the fungus gnats, their eyes are on the sides of their head. The eyes are on the sides of their head. And I'll put this together later. The eyes are on the sides of their head. They don't ever look down. So when they're flying around, they see the yellow and they go right to the yellow because they love yellow and they get stuck to it. So, so that's, and someone just joined, Susan Moynihan, and wants to know the name of the product. There's the Bonide Systemic Granules, and then this is Safer Houseplant Sticky Stakes. Okay. All right, now the next one, this is spider mites. And because of the dry and hot for insects conditions of our homes, because of our furnaces running nonstop, you have low humidity and 72 degrees, our room temperature, is what is considered hot weather for our insects. So those eggs will hatch. And when you look up in the upper left-hand photo, that's a very high magnified photo of the 2 spotted spider mites, and see the kind of little orange or the little yellow globes that are kind of round and shiny. Those are the eggs. And now usually, excuse me, need a sip of coffee. Usually what our naked eye sees is this image down on the lower right hand, and see all the webbing with looks like dandruff in it. That's the indication of spider mites. A lot of times you won't see the webbing until it really gets to be an intense infestation. And the problem with this and spider mites is they're a completely different group of animal, quote unquote animal, than regular insects. They're in the arachnid, the spider family, Arachnidaceae. So the insecticides that work on aphids, the mealybugs and scale will not work on spider mites. So you have to have a product that has sulfur in it, or you have to have a miticide. And the ones that are safe to use in the house are, and I didn't bring them with me. They're on the list. I can't believe I didn't bring them with me. There's a Bonide tomato and vegetable that is in a 32-ounce spray bottle. There's a Natria in a 22-ounce bottle. It's a spray bottle. And then a little a little 16-ounce little small spritzer bottle from the Bonin company called 8. And all of those, the active ingredients are sulfur and pyrethrin, an organically derived pyrethrin. The sulfur will kill the mites. But if you're using those products, you have to make sure you coat everything, the upper sides of the leaves and the lower sides of the leaves. Okay. So, make sure that you do that. All right. The next, here we go. Now, the lack of humidity, I was talking about that, earlier for the two different, insect and spider mite problems we've been seeing. This also is affecting our houseplants, especially the large ones that you just either cannot lift them to carry them to the shower stall or a sink. All my small plants, I just carry to the sink, put in the sink, I water, let them drain, and then I use the fertilizer on them. My favorite is this Dynagrow 795. What I love about this one is it has those 11 micronutrients. And all you do is a half a teaspoon, which is this one cap, just this cap full in a gallon of water. And then always add 1 cup of liquid black coffee, no cream, no sugar, because that helps lower the pH of our alkaline water. And so that's water, drain, and then 2 to 3 cups of the fertilizer solution. And man, that helps your plants just really look better. Now, because we've had to water more frequently, especially the larger plants, they end up sitting in saucers of water, and the tops of the pots are drying out much more quickly. If a plant even sits in just even a quarter of an inch of water in a saucer, so like here's the saucer, and even if there's just a quarter of an inch in the bottom and the pot is sitting right in that water, that means there's 2 inches of waterlogged soil up in the pot. And when you have waterlogged soil that never dries out, that's the perfect environment for the water molds. And the water molds, and they're not just a fungus, it's called a water mold. Those are Phytophthora and Pythium. Those are what cause the root rot. And this slide right here is showing an example of root rot. Healthy roots on the left and damaged, diseased roots on the right. And when it's black and gooey, it's Phytophthora. When it's brown and dries out, it's Pythium. And this one has both. This sample has both. So in order to prevent this from happening, and plants survive it, but what happens is they just lose the roots in the bottom 2 inches, and they say, okay, I'll play your game, and the roots go up higher. What that does is that reduces the number of roots available to bring water and nutrients to the plants. So the plants have to balance their checkbook. And we're seeing a lot of that right now on our houseplants. And I must have 10 people a day that come in or call asking what's going on with my houseplant. And so what's happening is there's not enough roots, or there's not enough nutrient because people aren't fertilizing yet. And so what they're doing is they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And you'll notice, and our houseplants notice this before we do, that our days have gotten longer and longer and longer. And so they're starting to put out new growth at the tips. And when they do that, they're saying, you know what? We don't have enough nutrient. We don't have enough water to go around when the houses are this dry and the humidity is this low. So we're going to rob from the old guys. And you old guys, we're going to make you jump overboard. But before you jump, because we don't need you anymore, you're not as prolific as you were. You don't produce as much food. You're not photosynthesizing like you used to when you were at the tips. We're going to make you jump. But before we make you jump overboard, we want you to empty your pockets. So plants always have 2 pipelines going in. There's the xylem, which is the water, and it's pretty one way, roots out, roots out, roots out. And then there's the phloem, which goes 2 ways. And so the plant photosynthesizes, makes sugars, and that goes down to the roots. The roots go, ooh, great payment. And then they give nutrients back, and the macronutrients and micronutrients. And so what happens when they designate an old leaf to be, jettisoned or make them jump overboard, they tighten the water. So it's like when you set your water to a trickle when you brush your teeth to save water. That's what happens. They set it to a trickle, and then the plant realizes, oh my gosh, that leaf realizes, I've been designated to jump. but they leave the phloem open so any nutrients, and nitrogen is water soluble, so they can pull all of that out, and they pull all that out, and once all those nutrients are out, and they either give them to the roots or they give them to the new young guys that are starting to grow, then they shut both off, and the leaves have turned yellow because the nitrogen's gone, and then an abscission layer sets up and those leaves drop off. Now, you can have a plant with 95% beautiful green leaves on it and 2% yellow leaves, or 5% yellow leaves, and it drives you nuts because yellow is the color our eyes notice the most. So to make yourself feel better, just prune off those yellow leaves and then start fertilizing. So, so again, use the Dynagrow, and we got the 32-ounce size now, you guys. Isn't this great? All right, and Dynagrow, or if you have the Schultz. Schultz was the first one that I fell madly in love with because it has 6 micronutrients, and it's at 10, 15, 10, the higher phosphorus for flowering and also root development. So any of those are great. But the most important thing to prevent root rot is to get the down under plant stands. And the down under plant stands, they come in 3 colors. You can see the black, the terracotta, or the clear. I'm going to use the black to show you how to use these. I love the larger ones because it has 1.5 inch clearance. And so you're going to put this, and I didn't want to break this one up, but you're going to set this in a saucer like this. Can you see that? It sits in this saucer, and then the plant in its pot sits on top of it, and it gives it 1.5 inch clearance. So you water, the water goes in here. You can have 1.5 inch of water in the saucer, and then the nice benefit of that is you get this increased ambient humidity as the water is evaporating out of the saucer. Now, it also comes in the smaller ones, and it's fun to use because I can show up and show you how it works better, but I don't like these because this is only 1/2 inch of clearance, and it's real easy to get 1/2 inch of water in a saucer before you know it. So I like the larger ones. These larger ones, I'm going to grab this one. They can be adjusted, and you can either snap them off right here. So you can snap these off, or you can use kitchen shears and cut these off, and it will cut it down to, to fit in a saucer from across here to here, like an 8-inch saucer or a 10-inch saucer, actually. So these are the best things that I have ever gotten for any of my plants. And I know any of the customers I recommend love them as well. Okay, so now, I'm looking at some of these questions. All right, now the next thing, this is my favorite part. This is the time to purchase your seeds. And I have to tell you, the first seeds that went up were the racks of Renee's Garden seeds. And I love Renee's Garden seeds. They're tested in 6 different regional gardens throughout the United States. Anything that makes it into Renee's line is easy and good for beginning gardeners, and her instructions on the backs of their packages are wonderful. Now, I have to tell you, I'm on I get a media kit from Renee's Gardens, and I picked up the phone and called her because the plant that was in the seeds that were in it were wonderful. It was a blue poppy, and I called her to thank her, and she warned me. We media representatives for her get $15 of credit of free seeds, and you can put an order in. She said, Jen, wait, don't try to fill your order. We are out of stock on everything because all of our garden centers ordered so heavily. So they don't have a lot of refills available. So, and that's the same with botanical interest. Things are going out quick. So buy your seeds early, buy them now. And so you have them. Don't be tempted to start them this early though. You want to count at most 10 weeks back from the frost-free date, which is the 15th of May, and even to be safe, the 30th of May. It's the 30th of May. So you don't want to start your seeds indoors until the middle of March. There are a lot of people that have started their seeds early, but you're going to end up with plants that are weak and stretched because they're not getting enough sunlight. Look at a day like today where it's gray. So don't be tempted to start too much early. If you just have to start, look, did I take a picture of this? No, I didn't. We're going to go back a minute. Look, Renee has this wonderful, we have two different sales racks. One is for pollinators, and it's all the plants that have gorgeous flowers that are great for pollinators because they either have good pollen or also good nectar. And then they also have one for container gardening. So if you're just itching, you want to get one of the leafy plants like spinach, kale, lettuces, and grow those. Oh, and there's a baby spinach that's wonderful. There's a baby kale too, and grow those in a container in a sunny window, and you can harvest those and eat those. You can stir fry the kale. You can use them in salads. You can eat them just plain and raw. They're so good. So so that'll get your fix. But don't try to do tomatoes. Don't try to do anything like eggplants or peppers. Too early. Okay. Now the next one. Now this is serious. This is serious. And I've had probably 6 calls in the past 10 days about people noticing damage on their plants from rabbits. And rabbits, as far as I'm concerned, is public enemy number 1. Look at the horrible damage to the arborvitae, and up in the upper left photo, and then look at the damage to roses down on the lower right. And then this I think it's a magnolia, oh no, it's a serviceberry where all the bark was eaten off. These animals are just horrendous for our landscapes. And when the snow gets this heavy, they don't want to go out. So they just hunker down under a shrub where the snow is piled up on top of it and eat the bark off it from the inside. So what you need to do, and you can't spray this right now because the temperatures are still below freezing, but plant skeed is wonderful. Plant skeed is probably the best for rabbit and deer repellency. And so watch, because we're supposed to get into the 40s next week. So, that's when you can spray all the plants that are being ravaged by the rabbits. If you just want to make sure you've got your plants protected, what you do is take the granular, and sprinkle this down through the centers of the plants where the rabbits could be, hunkering down and hiding out, and they'll move to another location. They'll try to move to another location. But the best is to actually spray the product on the foliage that they're trying to eat. So, good luck on that. Deer is also, you might see the deer problems as well. There's the plant skeed, the liquid and the granules. And I love that product. This is something else I'm starting to get calls from people and this is a sample of winter damage. This was taken in the summer after the damage occurred, but I just want to show you, that this is what you're going to start seeing on plants that either weren't watered well enough before they went into the fall. Although Mother Nature was really good this year. We had a lot of really good rain, late in the late fall, but any plants that are near like a real windy area, or also near where they're getting salt spray, that can actually cause serious problems on especially arborvitae. So what you want to do with that is, and this is a liquid, so you really have to wait till the temperatures go up, but you want to spray wilt proof on them. And we have it in the spray bottles, the ready to use spray bottles. And we also have it in a concentrate. So this concentrate will actually make 6 gallons. So, so if you have a lot to spray, get the concentrate and put it in a tank sprayer, and it really does the trick. Okay, let me just see. Okay, cool. And I'm going right along here, so I'll be able to get to all your questions. Now, this isn't on the list, but we just got this in, and I had to share this with you. Okay, how many of you love beans and peas, like sugar snap peas and or sweet pea flowers? We haven't been able to get the legume inoculant for 2 years, and we got it this year. And what is wonderful, this is a beneficial bacteria, and you can see it's just a black powder. And you coat your seeds with this before you plant them. And this inoculates with the beneficial bacteria that makes these nitrogen fixing nodes. It helps those nodes form on the crown of the plant and then all along the root system. And what that does is those nodes absorb atmospheric nitrogen and help put it in the soil. So the plants do so much better. They're so much more vigorous, and then they produce better. So this is so neat, and we've got lots of this in stock right now. The amount to use for a small packet is a third of a teaspoon. And you can either coat all the seeds in, or if you're going to plant them all, or I like to say, put them in a baggie or a little small paper bag, and then coat the seeds you're going to plant. Once you coat them, it up in the air, it can become inactive. So plant them as soon as possible, after you've treated them. And then for a larger packet, like these 50-gram packets, it's a half a teaspoon. And the good news is, don't worry if you over inoculate. Don't worry about that at all. So it's so neat that we have this. All right, so now what I'm going to do, let me just do this. Oh, there's Wilt-Proof. There's me again. Always know, if you have any questions, you can always bring your samples and send your photos to me. I'm the diagnostician here at Chalet, and my email address is jenniferb@chaleznursery.com. You can also send anything to our customer call center, and whenever you call the phone now, you go to the customer call center, or you can email it to hello@chaleznursery.com. So I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint, and then go back to me. And then I'm going to move these. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. I'm going to move the questions up so I can see them, and the chat box up so I can see that. Come over here. Oh, that's not what I want. Here we go. Hi, everybody. All right. So now I'm going back to the beginning. Trish Kleider said she did not receive the email with the attachment. So I'll follow through and get that back to you afterwards. Okay. And then what's the best way to eliminate buckthorn? I'm going to get back to you on that one, Janet. It's not the best thing to answer right now, because you just can't do it right now. Okay. So now, never got a handout, or our next invitation nor the next invitation. Anyway, Phyllis, I'll get back to you on this. You've had problems with this before. Okay. And then this is from Catherine. I didn't receive the handout. Please send it to this. We'll follow through on that. Cindy, I'm overwintering a potted fountain grass plant in my shed. Something I read or heard said to water it monthly. That's true. Which I've been doing. Right now, to get to it, I have to dig out a 3-foot snowdrift. Wait, I thought you said it was it's in your shed. No, don't worry about, it's frozen solid right now. Oh, that's okay. I was just thinking it was in a garage, a heated garage. No, if overwintering plants are in a shed and the root area is frozen, you don't water it, and you wait till they're thawed and then you water it. So don't worry about it. If it's not critical, don't worry about digging through that. You said a 3-foot drift. Don't worry about it. Until the temperatures go up, and when it gets 40, you might want to check it, in the shed then. But by that time, a lot of the snow might be melted. Okay, now this is Phyllis again. Okay. All right. She needs a handout. All right. This is to Joan. Joan, can systemic granules be used on a lemon tree in a container? All right. Technically, I have to answer no, because it's not on the label. It's not on the label. I use it on my own lemon tree and my own lime tree when there are no lemons and limes on it. And it works for the scale. They get really bad scale. So and it's only in the plant for the 8 weeks, and then it's out of the plant. So if they're just blooming, you can go ahead and use it. If if it's not blooming, or if it's got fruit, then use more of and when we say, what are you treating for? I should know what you're treating for, Joan. So if you want to send a direct question to me at at jenniferb@shalleynursery.com and let me know what you're actually treating for, and I'll answer that even better. Okay, so now this is Fred Chamberlain, Garden Coach Jennifer. Ooh, I like that. That's really nice. Okay, where do I trim off the spent flowers on my peace lily plant? Oh, that's a wonderful question. Down near the base of the plant or near the flowers, where the flower stem meets the leaf. That's a wonderful question. Okay, so you know, I like to grab the spent flowers, you know, and then just kind of pull them away from the, you know, from the foliage in the plant. I follow down as low as I can go, and then I prune it off just where it's emerging out of the leaf shaft. And that was one of the things you asked about. Great question. Okay, so now, and then Phyllis Cheskin is asking about Osmocote. Okay, let's do this. And Osmocote, it would be okay this time of year. Osmocote is a time-released fertilizer that is coated. It's coated and coated and coated and coated and coated. And what happens is every time you water, the outer coating dissolves and puts nutrients in the soil solution. Now, if plants are going to be going into a dormant period, so that would be like out back in, you know, like at the end of the summer, going into the fall, and when the plants are going into a more dormant stage, houseplants in particular, it's not good to use the Osmocote at that time because you want them to have a little bit of a rest in December going into the 1st of January. And then once the days start getting longer and longer and longer after the 21st of December, then you can start giving them fertilizer again. So I used to tell people to start doing it, you know, at the end of January, definitely by the middle of February. And so you could use Osmocote. It makes it real easy because every time you water, the nutrients go down. I'm not as fond of Osmocote because it's just macronutrients. That's it. It's just macronutrients. And the best you can do for your houseplants is to use the balanced one, which I believe it's an 18-18-18 or 14-14-14. I'm not real fond of it because I like something that has the macronutrients or micronutrients in it. So I like the liquids better. But anyway, anyway. All right. Will bonide, okay, this is Margaret Winker. Will bonide granules harm bees? No, because there's no bees in the house. And no, because if you use the product on plants outside, it's a product that's only in the vascular system of the plant. All of the flowers there's a membrane in between the vascular system of the plant and the flower that keeps anything from going into them except for water. It's like our blood-brain barrier in our blood system, in our brains. So no, they will not harm bees. Okay, next question. And you know what? I've got, and I'm doing all the questions and answers. I need to get to the chat box too. So hold on just a minute. Are there organic options? What about organic options for houseplant fertilizer? Okay, there are organic options. They smell terrible. And so a lot of people don't like to use them in the house. And so that's a quick, fast answer. Okay. Okay, what is the name of the liquid used for winter damage on arborvitaes? My neighbor has it. I can tell her, yes, or your neighbor has the damage. It's wilt proof. This is it right here. Wilt proof. That's the ready to spray bottle. And then we also have it in the concentrate right there. It's called wilt proof. It's a wonderful product, wonderful product. Okay, now let's keep going. Another person didn't get the handout. Okay, another person didn't get the handout. All right, here we go. When someone signed off and said, thank you, that's so nice, Cindy, thank you. Okay, should we brush the heavy snow off the evergreen trees and shrubs? D. Johnson, yes, you should, but right now it's frozen solid, so just leave it. If you didn't brush it off as soon as it landed on the tree, leave it until it melts because you're gonna do more damage once it's frozen solid on the plants. And then Susan Moynihan, can I trim the old flowers off my limelight and little lime now? Are you nuts? I'm so sorry. I wouldn't go out and do that personally, but yes, if you want to trudge out through all that deep snow, you can prune off the spent flowers off your limelight and little lime, or you don't have to wait. Okay, I left them off on for winter interest, and I do not want to encourage them to start growing just yet. Susan, you don't have to worry about encouraging them to grow at all right now. They're dormant. But that was a fun question. Thank you. I'm going to go over to the chat box now because it looks like I've got all of the answers for the Q&A, and I'm going to go over to the chat box. And let me see if I can do this one. Okay, I'm going to try to move this over. Okay. All right. It's not letting me scroll up and down. Oh, here we are. Here we go. I'm going to go up to the top. All right, for the chat box. Didn't get an email. Just join. What's the name? Well, Bonnie. Okay. Oh, so you did this on chat box and questions. Cool. We answered that one. Didn't receive them. Okay. Also didn't receive. Oh, okay. Chat boxes. Let's keep going down here. Let me do this for the chat box. All right. Here we go. Now I can do this. Okay. Now, not handout. Is there handout? Okay. I also did not receive a handout. Boy, we've got to figure this out. All right. About why people aren't getting the handouts. Okay. Are the products you're speaking of organic? This is D. Santucci. Some are organic and some are not organic. So, yeah, and it looks like, wow, what time is it? It's 11:45. It looks like I've gotten all and there's a raised hand. Let me see the raised hand. This is a cool thing. 2 people have a raised hand. And I don't know if you want, on the raised hand thing, oh, here we go. Here's the raised hand. Okay. All right, the raised hand, everyone's muted, so I can't get you to, I don't know if I can mute you or unmute you. Can the people with your raised hands, can you type your question? Because that's going to work better than me trying to do the raised hand. We have everybody muted on a webinar just because it gets too hectic to have, everybody trying to talk at the same time. Okay, all right, and I'm going back up. I think what I'm going to do, everybody, is I'm not going to sign off. I'm not going to sign off at the end. I'm going to scroll back through and get all of the addresses and of the people that didn't get the handouts, and then we'll send those to you, and we'll figure out why this handout thing isn't working. And I just want to make sure everyone has signed up through the virtual learning center. So if you sign up through that, your email is in the system, and you automatically, when you get the login to sign into the program, the link to the Zoom program, that's an attachment on that email. You might have to scroll down to the bottom of the email or the top, and okay, all right, yeah, to the bottom of the email or the top, and where it's an attachment, where it has the email as an attachment, and then you download it into your computer and you can print it out that way. So since we had a lot of problems with this handout situation during the Garden Coach last year in some of our webinars. So I'll look into this to make sure it's working better and everyone's happier with it. I'm going to check to see if we have any more Q&A. And here we go. No, I got, oh, hold on. Oh, here's a couple more. Oh, we have more. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. All right. I have a huge mother-in-law's tongue to repot. How do I keep the separated ones from tipping over as they readjust? Well, I like to use, this is from Susan Moynihan again, to, if you've got the leaves that are kind of flaying out because you put it in a larger pot, get some of the wonderful stakes. We have some beautiful garden stakes from the Peacock Company. And you put the stake in, and it has these wonderful adjustable rings that you can put around the plants. And we've got those in stock now. So that's a great question. Can I trim off the old flowers? Oh, this was Susan again, trimming off your flowers. Susan, I know you. Wait till it gets nicer. Don't go out there and do that now. Okay, then did you see the question about the mother-in-law's tongue? I just did. Okay. And then here's another one from Phyllis. Sign up doesn't, no. Oh, sign up doesn't move smoothly through registration. I'll talk to our staff and see if we can get that improved. Thanks for that feedback. Also did not receive the handout. This is Donna Ramelow. Okay, what we'll do is I'm just going to ask them to resend the handout to everyone who had registered so that you'll get that. All right, now someone says, if this helps, okay, let me just make sure. Okay, another person didn't get D. Santucci. Okay. If this helps, I signed up and received my confirmation from the Learning Center and did not receive the handout. All right, I'll make sure that our staff knows this. Wow, this is good. I'm glad we have the chat box and the question and answers. And how about, is everybody happy that I have learned how to read through the questions and answers and the chat boxes? You know, it's like learn something new every day. So, and I was going to check to see, we've got 10 minutes till our time is up. And I'm hoping everyone likes, you know, this new format that, you know, that we're doing. And I encourage everybody to come into the store. It just is so nice. Our merchandisers have done such a beautiful job, and that it's one of those feed your soul through this awful cold snow and cold temperature weather that we're having. It's really fun, you know, and one good thing I have to compliment. Oh, here's some more questions. Okay. I have to compliment our crews that do all the snow plowing in our parking lot. Phenomenal. They have that lot cleared just immediately. It's just really great. It's really great. Okay, so now here's, and Marion Wolf, you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for resending the handout. Thank you, Jennifer, you're doing a great job. Thank you. And let me just keep scrolling down here. And love your new format. Thank you for your great presentations. Thank you. You all are wonderful. Okay, and then, oh, here's a great heart from a person named Jen. Thank you, with thank you and 3 hearts. I love that. Thank you so much. So I'm really happy to be back in the saddle again and doing Garden Coach. And if you have, you know, any particular questions that you want addressed, you know, and you can always send those to hello@shallynursery.com, and they'll send them to me. You know, say, please send this to the Garden Coach. Or you can also send directly to jenniferb@shallynursery.com. So I'm loving that and our new laptop that we have for doing this is really working great, and it speaks my language. So it makes it a lot easier. So I am very thankful for this new format. And I'm going to check to see if we've got any more questions. Here's another one. One last time. I have a peace lily that gets poorly looking, and then I water and it looks okay, but wilts again. I use the Bonide on all the plants. Good. And you know, if your peace lily, Susan, is wilting, you know, in between waterings like that, then that's a good sign that it probably needs to be repotted. And the best time to repot is actually coming up. March is the best time because the days have gotten longer. And then when you repot, and you either want to, you know, repot by putting the plant in a larger pot or taking it out of its existing pot, cutting 2 to 3 inches off the bottom of the root ball, cutting an inch off each side of the root ball, and then putting fresh potting mix down in 3 to 4 inches in the bottom of the pot, putting the root ball back on top of the fresh soil, because roots grow down and out, never up. You don't want to put potting soil on top of the root ball ever. And then when you repot, It takes 6 to 8 weeks for those roots to regrow. So if you do this, and let's just say you do this, March 15, then 8 weeks takes you April and May. So May 15, then that's when the days are really getting long and the plant has all those roots to support all the new top growth and it recovers beautifully. So great questions, everybody. I'm so happy. And then okay, this is, oh, Mimi Morrison. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. So happy to see you doing this again. Makes me feel that spring will be around the corner soon. Ooh, gosh, that is great. Very good, very good. I love that. Very nice. Okay, and then, here's one that I put up the participants' hands up. So okay, have you discussed the best way to water orchids? Enjoyed this, thanks. This is Nicole. I didn't discuss it in this one, but I'll answer your question about the best way to water orchids. The best way to water your orchids is take them to the sink, water and let them drain, and then fertilize with either the Grow from Dynagrow, or the Dynagrow brand also has an Orchid Pro mix. And the Orchid Pro is 786. This is 795. You can use either of them on that. And again, a half a teaspoon, which is this capful, in a gallon of water. And after you've watered the orchid, let it drain, water the orchid, let it drain. And then you want to use 2 cups of the fertilizer mixture and pour that right over and let it go in. That's the best way to water orchids. Okay, this is great. Let me see, there's another message that just came in and it's telling me that. Is that cool? Okay, and this is a chat from Susan. You're the best. Thank you. And let me see, it's 5 minutes till. I'll stay here and answer any more questions that you might have. If you need to get going, you have my permission to sign off. And then what I'm going to do is leave this up, and I'm gonna jot through and jot all the names down of people that need the handouts, in case you didn't register through the registration system. But I'm going to also ask Carly to resend. Oh, and guess what, everybody? These sessions are recorded and they are going to be posted on the Chalet YouTube channel. And all the ones from last year are posted on the Chalet YouTube channel, as well as all the other webinars. So if you miss one, you can always go back, and it's free to go to YouTube. You can either connect to it from our webpage. You go to our webpage, and then way up in the upper right-hand corner is this little rectangular box, and you click on that, and that takes you to YouTube. You can either go that way, or you can just go to YouTube on your own. And then when you get on the YouTube page, type in Chalet, and you can do Chalet Nursery, or just Chalet, whatever the topic, garden coach, or be sure and watch my orchid repotting video that's on the YouTube channel. It's really good. It's really fun. So it walks you all through how to repot orchids, because we can't do it in the Learning Center like we used to always do once a month. So watch the video. Okay, here's another new message. Gosh, this is fun. It's telling me it has new messages. Is that cool? Oh, this was from Joan. Thank you. Great presentation. Thank you so much. I'm really honored. I'm so honored, to do this. So, well, it's 4 minutes till, and so I'll keep watching for more. I'm going to scroll over here, and then I'm going to start jotting down. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is, I have a gardenia. How can I care for it indoors? Are they water loving? Are they heat loving? Okay, gardenias, great question. Gardenias love it warm. Okay, they like to have their soil, their potting mix dry out in between watering. So that means you touch the top of it. And if it's dry to the touch, that means it's time to rewater. Try to get it on a once a week watering schedule. Take it to the sink, water, let it drain, water it down. Now, some people have really big, large ones because they've collected them for years. Get it down under plant stand so that when you water, let it drain, it's not standing in water, because they are so susceptible to root rot. You never, ever want to let a gardenia stand in a saucer of water. They also like more acidic soil. So they're the ones that love you to add 1 cup of black coffee to 1 cup of black liquid coffee to a gallon of water, and then do your Dynagrow because it has that higher phosphorus, and use that once a week. And the other thing you have to keep an eye out for with gardenias, they're very susceptible to spider mites. So always keep your eye open for that. And they love to be indoors. And then give it as bright a light as you can give it. A west window or a south window is ideal, to help keep them blooming. So great question. This was okay. And then another person didn't get the handout. Phyllis said, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And here's a couple more. Do all plants like black coffee? This is from Sandy. Yes, all of our houseplants, because our soil is so mildly alkaline, all of our houseplants benefit. So whenever I water my plants, I just make an extra pot of coffee because I have so many plants. My husband teases me about that. He goes, oh, you and your plants are having coffee this morning, huh? So I always make an extra pot of coffee and just add it to every watering can that when I'm watering all my plants. Yes. And what it happens is it takes the pH down to a 6.5. And science shows that all of the nutrients, the greatest number of nutrients are available on this graph at 6.5 pH, which is mildly acidic. That was a great question. I love questions like that. Okay, I have a spider plant that has spread out. How do I put it in a new pot? D. Santucci. You just take it out of the pot that it's in, and take the whole root ball out. Water it the day before so that the root ball is moist, and then take it out and then put it in a new container. Always looking to make sure that the top of the root ball stays the top in each different plot. So you fill soil potting mix down the bottom and the sides, never on top. Good questions. Good questions. This is excellent. Okay, I've got to do this and scroll back up a little bit. Okay, thank you. Happy to see you doing this. You were the best, from Susan. Thank you. Great presentation. Wow, this is fun. It was fun to roll back up. Okay, and then let's check over here. I've done it all, and it is 1 minute till 11. So I'm going to say thank you, everybody. I'm not going to sign this off, so I'll have to have you sign it up, because I'm going to look like I'm very studious now, because I'm going to write down all these people's names that need the handout. Okay, thanks, everybody. See you next week. All right, bye-bye. Uh-oh. Follow up on the coffee water question. Would I use this on a container tomato plant? You know what? You don't have to do it on a tomato plant. Tomato plants are not particular about their pH. They're fine in alkaline. So the main thing you want to make sure that you're doing for the tomato plant is give it, adequate fertilizer. So that means, fertilizing every time you water. If you have it inside and you're watering with a liquid fertilizer, and use one that has that higher phosphorus, so you get flower and fruit production. Okay, yeah, good question, excellent question. Okay, now I'm going to be studious. All right, bye everybody. Okay, now let's go to the top. All right. Okay. All right. Oh, Janet, I'm going to give you buckthorn. Okay. Phyllis. All right. Catherine. I don't know who Catherine is. Oh, there it is. K-R-A-S SES at gmail.com. Very good. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, cool. Oh, here's Phyllis. All right, cool. Okay. PG CIDES. Cool. All right, all right, all right. This is Fred Chamberlain. Perfect. Okay. KBIC. KB. Okay. Okay. Winkler. It's Winker. All right. Donna Ramlow. All right. Marion Wolf. Cool. Cool. Okay. Let's get these. No, 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 no. Didn't I do that? Cool. Okay, Dee Santucci. Two C's, Tucci, and Tucci at Gmail. Cool. Okay, Jane Bouchard. Okay. So there's Joan. Oh, this is Joan. Joan. And her thing is JCS and SBC. Okie doke. Okay, Nicole. Nugent. Okay, Mimi Morris. Okie doke. Cool. I am learning. We're good. Cool.